Bismillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alladhi ja'alna muslimin. And we always like to thank the one only God, the only creator, the only sustainer of the universe, because he's the one who created us, and he's the one who made us in the way of surrender, submission, obedience, sincerity, and peace. In Arabic language called aslama. So we thank him for that. And you're watching this right here, right now, on the eve of a very important event, because we're planning on a very big open mosque event to take place right here where we are now, just in about maybe 15, 20 hours from right about now. I think that's about right, is it? Maybe less than that. So alhamdulillah for that. And we have a really big crowd with us here today, and I'm going to give them the greetings that the angels give in the paradise, in the heaven. Assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah. Now, all these folks are here to be on Guide Us TV tonight with this great event, planning for tomorrow. And we're talking about how we should conduct ourselves and what we should do and not do when we have all of our guests coming from everywhere in the whole county, maybe the whole state, maybe even further, coming out to see what's going on in that open mosque. But before we go any further, I want to tell you what happened to me the first time that I heard about going to a mosque. Yeah, well, I heard somebody saying he wants to go to a mosque and see what's going on. And I was like, whoa. That's where them Muslims are. Whoa! Oh! I don't know if I want to go do that. And then somebody said, no, you should go check it out, see what... All right, so he went. When he came back, we took him aside. We said, what do they do in that place? Do they like slaughter animals? Spread blood around, you know? Maybe, do they make bombs? He said, no. He said, I went and the people were lined up, line after line, and they were standing like monks, silent, not saying anything. And it was so peaceful, he said it made me cry. And then he said they all bowed at the same time. And later they put their head down on the ground, like it says in the Bible, where they fell upon their face. He said it was so amazing. I was like, wait a minute, that's not what we heard on TV. Of course, you got to understand, this was back in the late 80s, early 90s, when the TV people, they didn't know much about Islam, and they used to say the wrong things. Not like today when they only say good things about Islam. Oh, what? Oh, yeah, the real world. Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's why we have Guide Us TV, isn't it? This is the only voice for real Islam in America. The only voice. And so this is why I want to encourage you to make a lot of dua that we can keep it. We really need to make a lot of dua that we can keep this channel on the air. Because I will admit that your open mosque is a very great effort. And in your area, it's stronger than anything I can do on TV. But the problem is we don't have open mosque every day in every part of the United States, do we? So this is something very good right after that. So what I'm telling you is that your project that you're working on is even more important than all of the millions of dollars that we spend in keeping Guide Us TV on the air. That's how important your project is. And if you say, well, it's only local, it's just coffee and some things, some people come by. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our Prophet Muhammad, the messenger of God, told us something that should stick in your minds. That if Allah guides anybody into the fold of surrender to Him in peace, called aslama. If God does that, using anything from your hand, then it's better for you than Homer and Nam. which is translated as red camels. That was the deluxe of the best of the animals in the world to the Arabs of that time. In another riwayah, in another hadith, he said, khayrum min ad-dunya wa ma fiha. Better than the universe and what's in it. Now, I wanted to be sure that you understand that you don't have to be the one who goes and convinces somebody and then stand there like a used car salesman and make them enter Islam. That won't work. Allah would never accept it anyway. But just the fact that you're there, maybe you're just serving some dates, maybe you're just helping out around there, maybe even helping them park the cars. The fact that you were there and did what you did, you'll get reward, and the reward from Allah. So do remember that in all that you're doing, that you're not here for any other reason, not to show off, not to make a bunch of pictures. We're here for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is our job. We were created only for what? Allah said in the Quran in Surah 51, verse 56, Surah Al-Dariyat, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, wa ma khalaqtul jinn wal ins illa liya'budun. He said he did not create jinn and humankind except for ibadah. Ibadah is to be in full service to your God, doing what He wants you to do on His terms. We were talking also a little bit ago about the word tawheed. What is tawheed? Tawheed is the subject that we are all calling to. This is the heart and the foundation of Islam itself. So how do I understand this word tawheed in the English language? How can I tell my friends? How can I show my friends how important it is? Tawheed comes from another word, wahid. Wahid means one. And in English, we use different languages to build the English language. It's made out of a composite, kind of like leftovers, you know? When you got a bunch of food you know what to do with, you make English. That's how it goes. And we use some Latin, we use some Greek, we use some German, we use French, we use some Arabic. But in this case, we're using the word mono. And mono means one. Duo, two. Trio, three. And Trinity comes from three. But mono comes from one. So you can understand where we're going with it. Duo, of course, is two. So if we think about this just for a second, just think for 1 second. Mono, one, could never be duo, because in order to have duo, you got to have two. So 1, 2. And if you go 3, well, it's definitely not 1 anymore. It's also not 2. It's also not 5. It's not 7. It's not 28. Mono is 1. Wahid is 1. Tawheed means monotheism. This is the belief in one God, alone, without partners. No God beside God. Now, everything that I've said right now you can find in the Bible. Everything that I just said, you can find it in the Bible real easy. But I'll give you a clue where you can find that the best one, I think, to use for dawah is chapter 20 in the book of Exodus. The Bible is different than the Quran. We just have one book that has 114 different surahs or chapters. But the Bible, it depends on which Bible you have. If you have the Protestant Bible, that's the Express Bible. It only has 66 books. If you have the Catholic Bible, you got 73 books. If you got the Orthodox Bible, you got 78 books. And each one of the books has a breakdown of chapters in the book. Then the chapters have verses. Okay, that's how it works. So if you look in the second group, or what they call the second book in the Old Testament, it's called Exodus. Genesis, Exodus. Exodus chapter 20. Start right at the beginning. It's telling you God said this. In English, which we know that's not the language it came from. So obviously, we said earlier too that anybody translating Quran, it's not really the Quran because it's in English and it didn't come in English. So we'll give this excuse to anybody. But the Bible in English, it says in chapter 20, I am the Lord your God that brought you out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. You know no other God beside me. Beside me, there's no other God. Thou shalt not have any other gods beside me. Now, is that pretty clear to everybody? Yeah, it's pretty clear to me. That's the foundation of Islam. That's the foundation of Judaism. Judaism is the Old Testament, and that's where we found it. But is that something that's in Christianity, or is there something in the Bible that says Trinity? Let's find out when we come back. Don't go away. We're going to be right back with more about the open mosque. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Get connected with Guide Us TV. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/GuideUSTV1. Join us on Google+, plus.google.com/+GuideUSTV. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/GuideUSTV1. Find us on Flickr, flickr.com/photos/GuideUSTV, and add us on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/GuideUSTV. Get guided with Guide Us TV.
What's the fast way to support Guide Us TV? Go to Donate to Islam. Then click on the big blue and red shield, Guide Us TV. Then lower right, the green Contribute Now. Then choose the pledge amount that you want. 1,000, 500, 200, 100. I'm going to click the 100. It says Add to Cart. Click the green button on the upper right, and then you'll go right to here. Now, if you have PayPal, click it. It'll fill in, and you're ready to go. But what if you don't have PayPal? Real quick, fill it in. There's my name, Yusuf Estes, my address. Everything is there. Continue at the bottom. That'll take you to the page to choose the card. The amount is already there for you. You're ready to go. That's how easy it is. And then you can get rewards and get guided with Guide Us TV. And we're back. We're talking about the open mosque and what should Muslims do when they open up the mosque to let people come out. But first and foremost, we want to be sure that you show up. I want you to be sure and come tomorrow. And don't say, well, I'm afraid if I come, there won't be enough parking places for the other folks. And don't say, well, if I'm there, maybe it'll be too crowded. No, it's not too crowded, and you're not wasting parking spaces. We want you to be here. Bring your shiny little face and come out here and share it with us, okay? You never know, because it's so important that we come, because Allah might make somebody attracted to talk to you. Now, there's a guy, I like this guy. He reminds me of so-and-so. Let me go talk to him. I know that because I did that the first time I went to a mosque. I saw somebody that looked like somebody I knew. I went over and talked to him. I felt comfortable. And you know, this 25 years ago. Last week, I saw that same person in another state, in another place. It shocked me. And he remembered everything about the day we met too. How beautiful is that? And that was the day I actually formally entered Islam in front of everybody. Imagine this. So you don't know. Maybe you'll meet somebody exciting, somebody that you can help, or they can help you. Who knows? Now I want to come back to a subject that we left off with. We said we said that it's very important about monotheism and tawheed. This means the same thing, to believe in one God. It is the foundation of Judaism, and nobody can argue that. You read the Bible, you see it again and again and again. In fact, if you read the book of Hosea in chapter 14, you'll be surprised that it said in the Bible that there is no God beside me, meaning God, and beside me there's no Savior. That's in the Bible. No Savior except God Himself. So, I want to know though, what about the Christian who said, well, God is Jesus, or Jesus is God, or God's the Son of a God, or God is the Jesus of a God, of a Trinity, of a, and there's all different expressions that they try to come up with. I know, because we used to try to do that. But listen real carefully. Some will tell you, well, I don't accept the Old Testament anymore. It got canceled. Who canceled it? They will say Paul. Pauline doctrine canceled it. Okay? Because Paul said clearly, he is dead to the Torah, the Sharia. He's dead to the law. He said, because of the law, I sin. If it weren't for the law, I wouldn't be a sinner. Who said that? Paul. Okay? According to the New Testament, that's what he said. He also told them in Romans, book of Romans, he said, if the lies I tell, if the lies I tell bring people to the Lord, then why do they, meaning the companions of Jesus, why do they persecute me? If the lies I tell, I'm just telling you what it says. I'm not telling you how to interpret it. It's there. All right, now, so I need to go back and see what Jesus said about all of this. We find in the book of Matthew, that's the first book of the New Testament, chapter 5, verse 17 and 18, red letters, because they use red letters if Jesus said it. He says to them, I did not come to destroy the law, the Torah, the Sharia. I know a lot of the audience at home is saying, Sharia? Wow, no, that means, doesn't that mean, what's that thing called jihad or something? Sharia doesn't mean kill people? No, Sharia means law, God's law. Like Torah means God's law, okay? So, this is Jesus saying he didn't come to destroy it. He said he came to fulfill it. So every true Christian, if they want to follow Jesus, they should be trying to fulfill the Sharia. The law. Right? Oops. So there's a good case of things that are not being translated right. Now what I'm telling you is when you have guests that come over, if you're not sure of the words, ask somebody who is familiar with both languages, especially in the understanding of the exegesis of the Quran, tafsir of Quran. Be careful. All right, so now we come to this saying here. It says he didn't come to destroy the law, but he continued. He said, I didn't come to destroy the law and the prophets, meaning the books of the prophets. He said, I came to fulfill, complete the law. And not until all things be finished or accomplished shall a single dot, a dot or a jot or an iota or a tittle. I'm telling you from all the different translations. These are different translations. It means the smallest mark on a piece of paper, not even that is going to change from the law until Yom Kippur. It stands firm. He's telling you, don't mess with that. He goes to another extent, though, continues after that. And he said, whoever breaks the least commandment. So now if you doubted that it was the commandments, he said it. It's according to this book anyway. He said it was a commandment. That's part of the law. Whoever breaks the least commandment and teaches it, means it's okay. He didn't mean that you break a commandment, you're going to hell. He's saying if you break it and you teach that it's okay, he'll be the least in the kingdom. In the next life, this guy's going to be where? But whoever keeps the law and teaches that, he'll be the highest in the kingdom. All right, so we got it straight. This is not Paul, who never met Jesus, by the way. He came 30 years after him. Met some of his companions, and they're the ones that were persecuting him. According to their book, it says that the law stays in effect according to Jesus. So based on that, let's move forward to the next book. We said Matthew. The next one is Mark. The book of Mark, chapter 12, verse 29. This is real interesting, because in this one, they're asking Jesus, alayhi salam, what is the greatest commandment, O Master? They're calling him like he's, and he's telling them there's nobody greater than God, okay? Don't call me this. He said, but the greatest commandment is to know, O Israel, the Lord your God is one Lord. Greatest commandment is to know that there's only one God. What was the first commandment we read in the Old Testament? One God. What's it according to Jesus? One God. So we have a lot in common with those people who read their book and understand it. If you see a contradiction, I swear there's no contradiction in the Bible at all from God. Only what people did to it afterwards. And I spent 2 years, my first 2 years in Islam, comparing the different Bible texts that I had and Greek, so that I could compare it to the Arabic language of the Quran. And it came down to this one thing. It was real easy for me to wrap it up in my head, because I never found anything in the Bible and the Quran that was different, except where the Bible contradicted its own words. Did you understand what I said? The Bible didn't contradict itself with Quran until you would see something here and say, well, wait a minute, this doesn't work. But you could look over to the Quran and see, yeah, because the Quran doesn't contradict itself. Subhanallah. So you have a great chance to open up a beautiful door with the people tomorrow. And I want to end it by saying this, that as long as we ask Allah to guide us and we do our best, whatever happens will be from Allah. But you do have to show up. You do have to be here. And, of course, do your best. And inshallah, Allah will do the rest. From us here at Guidance TV, and for all the folks here in Louisville, Kentucky, we say, get guided with Guidance TV. Assalamu alaikum.